Where my Hawks at? Yeah. I said, where's my Hawks at? It's time. We need to show them what we can do. We here. This is only the beginning. Where my Hawks at? I said, where's my Hawks at? Let's get it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. You are now listening to Hawk Talk Podcast, covering sports, academics, and Harmon updates. So grab your cup of tea, sit back, and enjoy Hawk Talk Podcast.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Hawk Talk Podcast. You're on my segment, Coffee with Christina.
Woo!
Today, I will be your host, and I will also be interviewing Mrs. Victoria Woodbury with Jack.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I got my coffee.
I have my coffee.
Christina.
You have a way bigger cup.
Yeah,
It's
I need that.
It's like your cup had a baby, and the baby is my cup.
I'm gonna spit my coffee out.
How are you doing? How's everything?
Good. It's the end of the year.
Yes.
So we've got a lot going on, a lot of data to get in. So as everyone here knows, we're all busy, but it's good. Kids are ready.
Yeah.
They're ready to go.
I feel
Yeah,
me
for
as well.
sure. You know, just getting in the classroom and they say, Miss. I say, you can do it. There's 3 weeks left. So I'm excited. I'm trying to pump them up, you know, get ready for the summer.
Yes.
Finish strong, all of that. So there's just a lot going on.
Absolutely, I totally understand that. So, the way that we do the podcast, I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions, and I'm gonna throw a curveball question at you too. Okay.
Okay.
The first thing that I want to talk about is tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you ended up coming to Harmon. How'd you end up at Harmon?
Yeah. So this is a long story, but I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. Okay. So I went to the University of Iowa, and I studied communications and American Sign Language. And what I originally wanted to do, so I was 21 years old, I wanted to be an American Sign Language interpreter for kids K through 12.
Oh, wow.
But you know what happens, life happens, crazy stuff, and I didn't, so I only have a minor. I didn't pursue a major or get a certificate or anything like that. Because of a boy, you know. So I followed him, and we traveled a lot. And then, as everyone, I'm sure, could relate to this, in 2020, March 2020 specifically, a very, very severe situation happened, and I had to reassess everything, right? Where I was, where my career was, and I said, you know what? I really want to be in education. That's what I originally wanted to do. So I need to get back on that.
Okay.
So in August 2020, I started applying just for instructional aid jobs, whatever I could find. Found an awesome behavior support position in Shawnee Mission, and that's how I found JAG, the JAG specialist at my middle school, and we became really great friends. She told me a lot about JAG and what it can do for students, and I was really interested, and before you know it, I landed at Harmon.
All right. Well, long story short,
Yeah.
it's a very great synopsis of how you got here.
Yeah.
So can you explain what JAG is or what that stands for?
Yes. So now, again, we're not, how am I going to say this? We're not representing JAG individually, right? This is just my interpretation as what I've learned in the last year. So in my opinion, I would say, for me and for my students in my classes, JAG is employability skills, leadership skills. I focus on exposure and experience. I want to be support in any way that I can. Now, let me give you some examples. I think you'll like these.
Okay.
This is 100% related to our job. Did you know that firefighters only work 10 days a month?
I did not know that.
And when you're 18 years old, you can start out as a firefighter at $50,000 a year.
I knew that you can start at 18, but I had no idea that they only work 10 days
and then it goes
month.
up from there. Full benefits, full everything.
Oh, wow.
Yep. I learned that yesterday. I've had a guest speaker come in, and he was able to talk to my classes, and he just had so much information and passion for his job. And I didn't really do anything other than contact him and say, hey, can I bring you into the classroom so students understand this is an avenue?
Yeah.
And I like to normalize college is not for everyone.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
You're right.
It's absolutely not. I'm not using communications. I'm not using American Sign Language.
Yeah.
So,
oh, yeah.
why did I pay all this money to go to college?
Yeah.
So, I love the exposure piece.
Yeah.
I love it, love it, love it. And that is what is going to help our kids be successful after that graduation day.
Yeah, I completely agree. One of the things that I do like about JAG, or Jobs for America's Graduates, is that they are, it seems like they're focused on exposing them to other career avenues other than just the college pathway.
Right. So. And everyone in this building is going to be an employee.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to be a college student. Not everyone's going to a trade school. Not everyone is going to focus on school. However, we are all going to be employees or even leaders of a team or a company, whatever. And I think that's what we can help teach are those skills.
Yeah. I totally agree. I agree. I never thought about that way. Everybody will be an employee.
Yeah.
Not everybody will be a college student. I love the way you said that. Okay.
Snaps to that, babe.
All right. So, well, that kind of just segues into my next question, because I was going to ask you, what's your role in the building?
Yes. So I have, 4 classes.
Yes. Yeah.
It's all broken up, so it's funny. But yes, 4 classes. So I would say I have my teaching role, my support role in the classroom. So I did the mock interviews, how to resign from a job appropriately.
Yeah.
But through the whole year, teaching skills that they will use. Not saying they're not going to use skills from other classes. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But I want to show you this is real life. You are going to go fill out this job application maybe tomorrow, or maybe when you graduate, you absolutely need to fill out this application. So that's what we do in my classroom. We do what you're going to do every single day of real life that's not relating to school. You'll take all of those pieces and what you learn from math and science and other sorts of, I guess I would say, organization skills, time management. You learn that in school.
Yeah.
You do.
For sure.
And that's the wonderful piece of high schools. We are molding children to help them become adults. Right?
And not just grown-ups.
Yes. And we need to help them function. So that's what I do. And I don't want them to get out of high school and say, oh, I've never seen a job application. I've never met an employer. I've never done that. So again, exposing them, helping them gain experience with filling out either a college application, a job application, having them sit through really uncomfortable interviews, because you have to do interviews. You have to. And then another big piece I focus on, and you guys do too, the community service piece.
Yes.
So right now, and for the rest of the year, my program is collaborating with KC Pet Project. So we will be doing a donation drive, and we're going to create posters and show or put them up around the school and let everyone here know, hey, if you would like to donate some dog food or cat food or treats or old blankets, gently used blankets, this is a way we can give back to our community. Our kids learn the valuable experience of giving back to the community, community service piece. So that's what I like to do in my class.
Okay, well, hurrah.
Yeah.
All right, so my next question would be, what kind of impact do you want to leave with your students? Like if they were to say, I had JAG in high school and Mrs. Woodbury was my teacher. What takeaway would you want them to have, or what impact do you want to leave on them?
My goal, or my biggest wish, is that they look back and say, I'm so glad I took JAG and I learned about the fire department. Or I learned about JCCC because we went on field trips and all of that. Or I learned about this program. Or this scholarship, because, core classes are really focused on core content and getting them to pass, which is really wonderful. Graduation is wonderful. But who's telling them about other avenues aside from college? Who is exposing them to the different career paths?
Right.
So I want them to say, oh, Miss Woodbury was able to expose me to way more than what just your general education setting can give you.
Yeah.
I hope to add that to their high school experience.
Right. You want them to be like, well, I ain't learned nothing. We didn't do nothing. I don't know what an application looks like. What is credit? Like,
Yes, yes, or budgeting. I mean, they probably budget in math. But I don't know, just different things. I think this is the first year JAG was able to go to Arrowhead Stadium. And they learned that creates over 3,000 jobs in one day for one game. And they can make a career out of getting in the door with media in the, or just even event management, setting up for events, all of that hands-on work. They didn't know about that. Yeah. They don't talk about that in regular classes, So that's my wish, is that they were able to experience something outside of a general education setting they usually wouldn't if JAG wasn't here.
Okay. I completely agree. I agree, and they did have a ball.
Yeah.
First of all, they were like, okay, where the Chiefs play.
Yeah.
They were down there.
Yeah.
And they did get information about like career paths and stuff that they would have never knew had we not had the opportunity to get them in there. So that was an amazing field trip that y'all had got taken care of, and then we were like, we want to do that too. So let's hop on that bandwagon.
Yep.
That was very, very informational, and they loved it.
Yes.
So what are your goals for next year as far as with the program, with your students? Do you have anything planned for next year yet?
My number one goal is to grow my program. I only have 40 students on my roster, and we can max out at 60. Yeah. So I don't feel like I've reached my full potential with my roster. So I would really love to add students. I did not take as many field trips as I would have liked to. Now, I'm a first-year teacher. Yeah. My role in education prior to this was behavior support. So I didn't have a classroom. I didn't have curriculum. Right. I didn't leave on field trips, nothing. Right. So I would like to help them travel, whether it's to KU or a recycling company in Kansas City. I don't know,
something. Yeah.
Something that they wouldn't be exposed to. I mean, they're going to be exposed to KU.
Eventually.
Or I don't know, Betty Ray's ice cream. That's a great local spot. But how does that business happen? How does it run? How did they create that company and, bring it to the success that it has right now? Kansas City is known for Betty Ray's ice cream. Yeah. So fun field trips. Entrepreneurship, expose them to local business owners and have them talk to people who've had success. But everyone who's had success has also had tons of failure.
Because you can't succeed unless you fail.
Right. And I think that is such an important piece in anyone's journey. So if they can see someone, I don't know, from the Chiefs or whatever, that says, I was cut every single day from every team that I went to, but then so-and-so took a chance on me. I got to the practice team, and then I was able to sign a contract. Yeah. So showing that failure, but also showing you lace up those shoes and you keep going. Yeah. So exposure. I'm going to say that over and over. Exposure and experience. That's my goal. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
I kind of want to piggyback or go back to something that you said before, because I had no idea that you went to school for ASL.
Yeah.
That's something that I really want to expose the students to, because that is considered bilingual, because it's another language.
Yep.
Are you fluent in ASL?
Not anymore. My entire senior year of college was all ASL. all of my teachers were deaf. They couldn't hear. They don't speak. Every single class all day long was sign language. Oh, and I loved it.
That's cool.
Loved it. I've always wanted to work with kids, but I never got to work with kids in that setting. You have to be certified in order to do that. But it was the best experience. I took it as an elective and fell in love, absolutely fell in love from day one. My first class, first teacher, he was deaf. He didn't say anything, and he started in sign language. So they throw you in the deep end, and they're you figure it out or you don't. Wow. And my brain just absorbed that and ate it all up, and I still dream in sign language.
Really?
Yeah.
That is cool.
I know, it's crazy. And, my hands, my muscle memory remembers a lot more than my brain.
Yeah.
But I'll look it up if I forget, what's the sign for that? I cannot remember. Yeah. YouTube has it. You can find it.
You can definitely find it. YouTube has it. Yeah. Even the Hawk Talk podcast.
Yes. Yes, it does.
So for my curveball question.
Okay.
A lot of people may not know, but you do coach. You coach basketball, right?
I do, yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into coaching and, if that's something you're going to continue next year?
Yeah.
Maybe here, not sure what you want to do. But, let's talk a little bit about your coaching.
So I was approached by my athletic director in Shawnee Mission and said, hey, and this was in 2020. Yep. We don't have assistant coaches. We have a head coach. How would you feel about joining? Now, this is not going to be a regular season. We're not going to get on a bus and go to a different school and play a different team because of COVID, policy, procedures, all of that. And I said, okay, so what do you mean? This is basketball season, but it's not. We're going to mask up, we're going to hand sanitize, and we're going to teach them some skills. Have you had any experience? And I said, yes, absolutely. I played basketball in high school. I've watched a lot of sports. I like to think I know a couple things about basketball. So I said, yeah, let's do it. And it ended up being 10 girls, but it was so fun because the best piece about coaching your own students is stepping outside of that academic setting and getting into a competitive, which in 2020 it wasn't competitive.
Right.
But with each other, the girls, they just love the games and all of that. So it's really wonderful to get to know them in a sports setting or an athletic setting.
Right. So you had some of your students
Yes.
were on your team.
Yeah, so what's funny is I worked with kids who struggled, right? So I was behavior support. So kids who like to fight or, whatever it was, we helped create an outlet where they can use that energy.
On the court.
On the court, exactly. So that was great. That wasn't my usual, what I thought basketball would be. So 2021, I said, I want to go through a full season. I want to know what it's like. We had 3 teams instead of 10 girls.
You had 3 different teams?
Yep. Okay. So it's A1, A2, and A3.
Okay.
Yep.
So kind of like JV, varsity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, this is middle school level, so it's not, intense competitive. It's not the high school level, but it introduces them to a competitive sport if they haven't played it yet. So it's a lot of fun. You get to travel. I got to see different schools because this was my first chance being in an educational setting. So I got to see all the other schools and the gyms. And so I'm from Iowa. I grew up in a really small town, right? Maybe 300 people in my high school total. And our gym was this big, right? So when I stepped foot in a Kansas City school and got to see their gyms and their athletic programs, I was blown away. Yeah. They're beautiful. They're well run. I mean, it is just a night and day difference. So it's just cool. It's cool to experience all of that exposure and experience.
It's EE and not employing right.
Yeah. So it's great to travel with them, not talk about school, not talk about the naughty words they used towards their classmates or their teachers, connect on a different level outside of behavior support and be a coach and a player.
Yeah.
And support them that way.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
And I bet that since you had that they were able to be better. And like some of those students you may not have to have anymore.
Yes.
Because with that structure
yes.
and everything that you gave them, they were able to be like, okay.
Yes.
Like, okay, I need to get my stuff together.
Yeah, like get it together, or, you know, I'm not going to play. Like Miss Woodbury's going to put me on the bench. I'm not going to be able to do this. Like I need to, like you said, get it together.
Right.
So, yeah.
So do you still coach at Shawnee?
I do. Yep.
Okay. Would you ever think about coaching anywhere else, any other school districts?
So I like the middle school piece right now. It's not as intense as high school because the high school season's longer. So like I said, I played high school and we went to state. So it's a very long, exhausting season for players and coaches. That's what's holding me back. Maybe before I'm done in education, I'll give high school one season.
I think you should just give it one season.
We'll see.
And see if you see how you like it.
Yeah, that's
they go
true.
More places too. Especially if you like the exposure and traveling piece. They go with high school. It could be overnight somewhere. You just never know what what it's going to be with high school. So I think you should dabble a little bit before you leave education.
And it's so hard to think about going to a different team because once you have that season with your kids, your girls, they become they're my babies. Like I don't want to leave my babies. Don't try to recruit me here. I'm not leaving my baby.
Right. I completely understand that because that's how I feel about my students here. Like I don't want to go to another JAG program at another school because these are my babies.
Yeah, unless you can let me take them with me, which you're not going to do. So
there's the paperwork that needs to be
done. I need all the families to relocate so I can continue to coach them.
So before we end, since you did say that you wanted to, get your roster numbers because you have about 20 slots that need to be filled, give or take a tracking student or two.
Yep.
So how can students get into JAG? What is the process?
Our biggest piece is having our students tell their friends, hey, this is what we do. It's great. They support us. You really talk us up, brag about our JAG teachers. I passed out referral forms to our counselors, our social workers, say, hey, if you have anyone in mind. I think a huge misconception with JAG is that kids with behavior issues are meant to be in JAG. Like just kids with low grades who need support, behavior support, whatever, we're going to throw them into JAG. Yeah. That's not true.
Yeah.
Because there are straight A students with a 4.1 who have major social anxiety. And we can help force them into a presentation with a group of kids.
Yeah, we can.
That they weren't going to do.
And we will.
Yes, we will. Absolutely. So letting adults know, hey, this isn't just for, they have all Fs. I help support with academic remediation. Whatever it is. I want every single kid from the 4.0, the 3.0, the 2.5 down to the 0.9, whatever. Yeah. I want all of them.
Right.
So I think this is a great way to help adults in the building know.
Yeah.
So getting this out there. I like to talk. We like to be in the hallways and talk to people and kids. And, our students will bring their friends around. Hey, talk to your counselor about JAG.
Yeah.
So word of mouth is great. Those referral forms are great. I don't know. How would you do it?
Well, so the referral forms for sure. The student word of mouth is the biggest part of recruitment. Yeah. Because if somebody sees their friend in the class and their friend is doing all of this stuff and they're going all of these places,
going to Arrowhead,
going to the stadium, they're like, what is JAG? What do y'all do? Like, I want to eventually be in that class. However, there's also the interview process too. So you have to want, need, and be able to benefit from the program. Yeah. So we know that like you might want to be in JAG, but are you going to benefit and do you really need it?
Yeah.
So I like that you said that and everything. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this part up.
Okay.
Though, thank you so much, Mrs. Woodbury,
Coffee with Christina.
Coffee with Christina.
Thank you.
Yes, and we would love to thank our sponsor, the Football Booster Club. And thank you for joining us today on this episode of Hawk Talk Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome, Mrs. Woodbury. Yeah, have a great day.
You too.
Where my Hawks at? Yeah. I said, where's my Hawks at? It's time. We need to show them what we can do. We here. This is only the beginning. Where my Hawks at? I said, where's my Hawks at? Let's get it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
You are now listening to Hawk Talk Podcast, covering sports, academics, and Harmon updates. So grab your cup of tea, sit back, and enjoy Hawk Talk